startup. If you ask most people about New Zealand, I think we think about milks, cows,
Yep.
work-life balance. I think recently there was
Yes.
a article about it being the most work-life balance country. It doesn't
Absolutely.
seem to gel with this when we think about a startup hustle, right?
Yep.
We don't think about growth. So tell me a bit more about your perspective on New Zealand being that
Yep.
jump board of innovation.
Helping, mentoring, coaching, whatever you want to call it, more than 130 startups through a formal program, and so getting the understanding that for a startup to scale, there is a need to target a much larger market, or if you have the time, capacity, and even resources, capital resources, you can obviously target more than one large market. But if that's what you want to achieve as a startup, like scaling up, you need to look beyond your current, market. And when I was in Taiwan and I look at all those startups, they all wanted to go to larger markets for sure. U.S. market, Japan market, Southeast Asia market. There is always this argument that there needs to be a launch pad, a stepping stone, a test market, whatever you want to call it, before you go into such larger markets. And so when it comes to the Western markets, and I've seen a lot of examples of companies from startups, especially startups, going from Taiwan to the US, and I've not seen a lot of successful examples. So this is where after moving back to New Zealand, and then I've done my own research, and then I've also had the pleasure of running two startup programs myself in the last 6 years, and I came to this realization, that if you want to go into a bigger market, such as the U.S. market, that's always going to be a market you can never overlook. So how to get there? Obviously, don't go there straight. You can, consider it as a detour, or consider it as doing your own test market somewhere else, which is much smaller. It's something that allows you to control your experiment to a large extent, because it is, after all, an experiment, right? So when you experiment it in New Zealand, when you can experiment your business model, the idea, everything, the whole package in New Zealand, and if it works in New Zealand, then you can say, hey, let's try the Australian market, which is much larger. If both countries work well for your business, for your product, for your services, that's when you can say to yourself confidently that, hey, I can now go to the US market or the European market.